Aww. Well, if you've been following along, you already knew that, though. Because we just recently got this puppy detached. Okay, so all honesty, I just did this video, and it was 24 minutes long. Turns out I have a lot to say about this bike. Again, makes sense. This is the 205-mile marker when this happened. A question I get a lot is, how do you know? Because no, this doesn't have a screen or anything to tell you. I've been coming home and putting hash marks on a whiteboard every time I do a 10 or 5 mile ride, so it's very approximate, but it's a good approximation of how much I've done. So this wonderful little beastie I feel like it's done me well. And having just done a very unprofessional video showing how I got the wheel off of the back of this, because it wasn't straightforward, but I figured it out, and then I wanted to just share so that if you're putting in very specific search terms, you'd be able to find something exactly for this bike. This is the 2018 Cyclamatic CX2 folding electric bicycle. And, oops, I have some snapped spokes. I learned something. It's my fault. Oh well, right? And I learned a lot more than that too. While experiencing my current, waiting for parts and getting to the point where I knew what I needed as far as parts, I learned quite a bit. And I want to share it with you. The first thing I learned is that if you're consistently overload for your bike on an electric bicycle, and this is unique to electric bicycles, and it doesn't seem to be very well known, I didn't find it until I found a video I'm going to link below from a bicycle shop that's been in the business for, he said, about a dozen years. I guess he's out in California. He says that he's been seeing for a really long time that anybody who's putting a lot of weight on their bicycle, with their own body or with also their gear, or a combo, because I'm not light, they're seeing the spokes loosen up over time, which eventually leads to them coming undone, which leads to a bunch of broken spokes as they ricochet off each other. Yeah, that's what happened. This bike is rated for 220 pounds, which is the highest rating I saw on any bike that had 20-inch wheels and folded. So, base weight's 200. And then when you add on the kit I had on the back, which was that panter bag, and I like to carry a base repair kit with me everywhere. It's small, but you got to figure 5 pounds there, 3 pounds just in the fabric. I had a rain gear with me, the usual stuff. Nothing mind-blowing, nothing overkill, and then bringing groceries home on top of that. So I might be going out at 220, but I'm coming home at 275, right? And add on top of that, because this Californian guy wouldn't experience this, I'm in an area that gets a lot of snow and a lot of freeze thaw, so our pothole ratio is terrible. And you can't necessarily help from hitting a pothole when you're in traffic, for example. Maybe you have a cement barrier here and a car just so happens to be passing you at the non-legal spacing because they're supposed to give you 4 feet. They never freaking do. And then, oh geez, that pothole wasn't there yesterday. You're hitting it. That's just all there is to it. The best you can do is jump so that your own weight isn't also on top of the bike as it goes over the pothole. Hope for the best. Hope you don't destroy your rims. So I didn't realize, because I've been riding bicycles since I was 5 or some shit. Sorry, I swore. Let me stop doing that. And I've never had to tighten spokes, and I know from my bicycle repair class that if you do tighten spokes, you better as heck have a truing stand, because you're going to throw your wheel all off kilter, and that they just stay, they just stay. Well, that is not the case with electrical bikes. If you're heavy and you're on an electrical bike, or you and your gear combined are heavy and you're on an electrical bike, you need to go through and check that your spoke nipples, these are called spoke nipples, that is not attached to anything right here, that is a spoke nipple. It's supposed to be screwed onto the top of the spoke. And once one of them comes undone, it's going to ricochet off of others. This one right here is just unscrewed. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a little bent from hitting the other one and snapping it. But on inspection, it looks like I only have 2 broken ones, but I have 8 that are not attached. I might be completely missing a few too, so I probably need more than just 2, because there's a couple that, there's another 5. I might not be seeing them all. That there's nothing there. So that's a problem. But a lot of the local shops, this is the next point I want to talk about. No, not a lot of all of the local shops won't service a low-end electrical bike. I'm going to tell you that they include anything with a hub motor in that a lot of the times. Even if they're electrical bike shops, they won't service things like a rad bike even. And that's not low-end like this one. This sucker was $550. Free shipping. Done deal. 205 miles? I'll take it. That's pretty good, considering like what renting a zip car for all of that would have been, or what getting a lift all the time would have been. But I also wasn't using it as a full-time commuter bike until COVID-19 came along. We'll get to that. So with the shops, they feel that it's too high of a liability to do service on what they call, rather condescendingly, a Walmart brand bike. So the first caution I would let you know is that when you're calling up a shop to see if they can help you source a part, or see if they can help you measure your spokes, because I didn't know how to do it, expect them to kind of mock you. I went in defensive by the 3rd or 4th one, and that actually worked out a lot better, because I called up and I said, "So are you going to pick on me for having a really low-end electrical bike?" And he says, "No, I'm not going to pick on you." Thank God. "But I can't service it." I'm like, "That's fine. I've taken all the classes, but I need you to help me measure the spokes and figure out what I need." And he was like, "Oh, bring it down. That's fine." So a good shop will be happy to assist you to self-repair. If you're going to get a low-end bike, hook yourself up with some bike repair classes ahead of time like I did. It was really, really good to know what you're doing, because you're not going to get help repairing this sucker, even if it's something super basic. The next thing I'm running into is rare parts. The hub wheels have a really high gauge, which is the thickness of wire, spoke in a really short length. The high gauge spoke is rare enough as it is. This is a 12 gauge. It could take up to 10 because I measured. And it's a J spoke, 12 gauge. One side's 132 millimeter, the other side's 130 millimeter. That's common. Usually they skew it a little bit to take into account that there's gears on the one side and that it still needs to balance. Those only are produced in certain areas of the world where shipments during COVID-19 are being severely slowed down. So I'm here on June 12th telling you that my spokes aren't coming until August 10th, and I ordered them last week. Yikes. So I'm landlocked for a while. This is my only power vehicle. and I'm not so comfortable with the bus right now, so I'm just home. It's kind of a bummer. I think I'll make it a separate video, because the tangent on what I'm looking at became like a whole nother video length. I am looking at, maybe I'm going to have two. Maybe I'll upgrade. But we'll talk about that some other time. I love this bike. I'm so glad I did this. I didn't want to commit $1,500 on a whim that I might be able to figure out how to do an electric bike. My only regret with this bike is that I listened to the people who were worried about me spending that much money and waited till most of the summer was gone that year. Should have done it sooner is my only regret. And that I should have tightened the spokes, or maybe somehow magically known that. Because now I'm dealing with no spokes, and therefore, well, not no spokes, but broken spokes, and therefore no bike. So, yes, I would so do this bicycle again. And I am looking forward to getting it up and running again, and I am stoked about the repair. I'm going to try and show you, just like I did with unplugging the back wheel. You know, if you're searching, how do I do this? I'm searching and finding other similar bicycles. I'm not finding the Cyclamatic CX2. So just like this video, where I'm going to include links in the description box below that are the video that I found about electric bike maintenance that finally said what the heck happened with my spokes, and it wasn't just like some fear-mongering stuff about a bike shop trying to tell me that these things are just cheap and it just happens. No, it's because I'm heavy and the bike didn't like it. That's all. So I should have been doing a little more maintenance. Would have been nice to know that beforehand. My kitten's screaming at us. I apologize. You can probably hear that. That's all. It's not that the bike is fundamentally flawed. It's just that there's more things you have to pay attention to because it has a motor. That's fair. Quit fear-mongering me. Oh, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated from the bike shop calling experience. Frustrated from being stuck at home, too. Sorry. So, that rant aside, I love this bike. I love it so much. But I feel like doing a video on what's so great about it, and even just the things that have been bugging me while it's upside down and busted, without saying all of this ahead of time and then ending up with a 20-minute video, is just, it's too much. So, we're going to see a video before I do one about how much I love it, or what I'm looking at, probably. We're going to see a video hopefully sooner than August 10th, if somehow magically the mail cooperates, but it might not be till a lot later even. That's what I'm finding with the ones that have really long order times. Nobody even has full-length 12-gauge J-spokes. Only 14. I'm talking to one of the shops about, they have a spoke threader and they could cut some 14s for me, but as far as this side of the ocean being able to source stuff of 12 gauge for J spokes at all, at any length, it's not working right now. So see how long that takes. We'll see if I break down and get another bicycle in the meantime. We'll see if I break down and get a car in the meantime. It's been 5 years. That's a long time. And I'll be using my old school regular pedal bike in the meantime. I think. Or maybe I'll just suit up with the mask and gloves and everything else, or like, I don't know, can I find hand sanitizer? No. Something for my hands and take the bus. We'll see how I do, because I got doctor's appointments. I gotta get to them. So I will keep you updated. We'll do a homemade wheel truing stand. You'll like that. You will like that. And we will do a spoke reattachment video, but we may do a decision about backup second bike, maybe with more range or something. And we'll talk soon. So I hope this was helpful. When you're done with this video, go check your tightness of your spokes. Do it now. If they're loose, get help. If you don't know what to do some research. We'll get back to that soon. But do go check that your spokes are screwed on. This little thing right here shouldn't be wiggly. It should be tight. This one's wiggly. If they're wiggly, you need to figure out where a spoke key is, or someone that knows how to use one is, before this happens to you. Have a good day. Take care. Bye.